Ah, festival time. Ooh, this is gonna be very exciting. I held back a yawn, rocking on my heels. It was early morning, and all of the students gathered around Augustin, who was briefing them on the duties. One by one, the students nodded or asked questions. When the instructions finished, everyone scurried off to their assignments. KYLER was kind enough to summarize the speech for me.
And then there's a group that'll need to organize the utensils.
Got it. I'll see what I can do to help out. I've never attended an archaeology-themed festival before. I quickly glanced to the side to give my cue. Let's have fun and let's make party!
Huh?
Let's make party!
What did Melissa bribe you with?
She owes me a beer.
I did it because she asked nicely.
She's taking advantage of your good nature, mate. You have to stand firm around pushy people like her.
I gave him a shove. I'm not pushy.
See what I mean?
What are we all loitering here for? Did we forget our duties?
Not me. I'll be helping with the food preparations.
I was translating the lecture for Melissa. I'll leave for the cave now.
I'm gonna catch up to you soon, boo. Oh, I was going to ask where all of the supplies for the face painting are.
That's why I am here. They're in the lab and ready for you.
And what will you be doing, Hendrik?
Once I finish labeling all the rocks in the display I created upstairs, I'll be overseeing things. And yourself?
Me? I'll assist my boo in the cave. I'm going to help. I turned and realized KYLER already vanished. I gestured toward the pathway leading to the cave. You know, that guy. I'm gonna see if KYLER doesn't mind some assistance. Hey, hold up! Wait up! Excusing myself, I set off at a brisk half-jog until I caught up to KYLER. He gave me a side glance, but said nothing, and I figured it was his way of accepting my help. At least it didn't tell me to get lost, I guess. KYLER explained we would be setting up cutouts of animals that existed 30,000 years ago. The cutouts were already propped up against the walls of the wet screening room. There were scaled-down portraits of cave bears, Irish elks, a woolly mammoth, rhinos, red foxes, a family of Neanderthals, and many, many bats. Why Irish elks, I wonder? I picked up one of the bats posed in mid-flight. If this were a video game, the encounter rate in the cave would be extremely high. Yeah, no kidding.
We'll be concentrating most of these near the front. Visitors will go through the main entrance, then descend to the bottom and exit that way.
The cutouts were light, and we easily carried them down the catwalk. I climbed to the higher levels of the cave, away from the excavations, and placed the elk in a hopefully eye-catching position. KYLER attached some of the bats to the measuring strings used to indicate squares. I noticed there were more lights around to help illuminate the cave. There was a perfect notch in one of the columns that could hold the upside-down bat picture. I stretched out my arms, trying not to step on the slippery stones around it. Oh no.
A little more. I got that.
He plucked the bat out of my hands and effortlessly wedged the cutout into the column. Thanks. I noticed he was holding a large flashlight, and he pointed to the catwalk.
I think we're all done here. Thanks for placing all of the grounded cutouts.
We walked over to the edge, and KYLER gingerly stepped down. As I bent my knees and prepared to jump, KYLER offered a hand. Grateful, I used it for support and hopped down. You're such a gentleman. There was an awkward pause as KYLER held my hand for longer than I expected. Realizing it, he hastily withdrew and glanced away. Ooh. Now what?
If you'd like, I could show you the bottom of the cave. Only a portion of it is illuminated, but I thought I could show you the rest.
Respectfully decline. Yes, we will go. Really? Could you? I haven't seen it yet, and I'd love to. I knew we still had the festival to set up, but I was sure a few minutes couldn't hurt. Besides, he did finish earlier thanks to my help. Delighted by my response, KYLER pointed the flashlight ahead. We took the catwalk that branched out from the usual path to some stairs. In addition to the bottom of the cave being darker, I noticed it had a mustier smell, and there was no measuring equipment. I had the feeling not many people came here aside from the main excavation team.
This is the lowest accessible level of the cave. If you continue this way, you'll be directly under the entrance in the wet screening room. Most of KYLER is still filled with sediments. Its true scope has yet to be determined.
I followed KYLER down the narrow passage. Down here was also damper, probably closer to the water table. KYLER's flashlight gleamed over various spots, allowing me to soak in the scenery.
It's said that when the cave was first discovered, they found cave bear bones deliberately placed in a rock cavity that resembled a box.
Really? What happened to it?
I'm not sure. It wasn't recorded, and now it's supposedly in a private collection. You're not scared of spiders, right?
No, why? To answer, KYLER shone the flashlight into a deep crevice, revealing hundreds, if not thousands, of cream-colored sacks attached to the uneven wall.
Hey!
It looked like a dim, starry sky, and I couldn't help but shiver, but in an awestruck way. Who else could say they'd seen such a big cluster of spider eggs before? You go, girl. I'm out. I'm gone. Wow, that's both cool and kind of creepy. I stood there marveling at the sight for a few moments. The pristine portion of the cave was fascinating. Excavating was interesting, but at the same time, I felt sad to know that when they finished digging, KYLER would be a hollow shell. I guess they could keep tours going or something. A reminder of what was found and what it had once looked like. Snapping out of my thoughts, I turned my attention to KYLER. He didn't seem to mind. In fact, he was happy that I admired the surroundings. Taking a few steps forward, he extended a hand toward me.
Careful, the surface gets rockier up ahead. Watch your step here.
You look so sneaky. Ow! He looks so pissed that she knows exactly what he's doing. And she's like, oh, yeah, you're gonna keep me safe, are you? That's so cute. So cute. Okay. I accepted his hand and we rounded the corner. The flashlight beam danced over the ground and I noticed the floor wasn't any rockier than where we'd first arrived. You know, if you wanted to hold my hand... I cupped a hand over my mouth and stood on my tippy toes, my breath tickling his ear. You could have just asked. Ugh! He whirled around, blushing furiously, and I felt his hand become hot in my grip. Pushing his bangs away, he struggled to respond calmly.
That wasn't my intention. I was merely...
Oh no! His heel caught on a rock, causing him to sway backward. I pulled him toward me to help regain his balance, similar to a dance move. I used my other hand to steady his upper arm since he held the flashlight. We were silent for a few moments before he cleared his throat and turned toward our original direction.
That's why.
Sure. His angry, blushy face. We resumed our walk, with KYLER a step ahead of me, using his flashlight to guide us. If I leaned in, I could see a calm smile on his face, as if he were comforted by something. We reached the end of the passageway, and he directed the flashlight straight up. I saw the square catwalk of the wet screening room.
We'll have to backtrack, but there's a second entrance we can use. It'll take us to a location under the balcony outside. And that's the conclusion of the tour.
Thanks for taking the time out to guide me. Not even Augustin or Sherry did that for me.
I didn't mind. You were genuinely interested in archaeology, and I wanted to show you. I'm glad it piqued your interest.
We retraced our steps, but continued to the second entrance KYLER mentioned. It was also a large steel door, but it was unlocked due to the upcoming tours. KYLER switched off the flashlight as we stepped outside, and my eyes adjusted to the bright light. I blinked twice and took in a breath of fresh air. Now what?
I have to adjust the lighting, but it's rather tedious. For you. You'll probably be more helpful at the museum.
Not complaining with that. I'll see you later, KYLER. Thanks, Boo, for being adorable. We exchanged goodbyes and he re-entered the cave. There was a steep yet worn trail that led back up to the shed. I balled the hand that KYLER had held, still touched by his gesture. It felt like a natural step between us, and I was happy it was mutual, even if we didn't put it to words yet. Ah, now's not the time to daydream. I should see what else I can do. Festival time! Where should I go? Oh, so cute, though. Gonna be gushing about that forever. Alright, we're gonna go do this again. It was easy to find them. They bickered in French as always. They were hitting rocks over a large flat stump. Upon closer inspection, the stump had 2 piles of a dark shredded material that appeared organic, along with multiple nests of long dry grass. Excuse me. Making a fire? I joined the curious crowd of bystanders, mostly adults with a few children watching in interest. DeAndre fervently struck the pyrite stones together, while KYLER had a methodical motion. Phew! Phew! The kids frantically pointed, and DeAndre uttered an exaggerated, "Huh," with a comical expression. He pretended to fumble with the materials, causing the kids to shout directions. Following their excited instructions, he picked up the tightly wound grass and tried to stuff the black material into its center. He barely touched the tinder when he let out a yelp, pretending to burn his finger. As he nursed it, the kids howled with laughter. KYLER simply ignored the performance, his eyes blazing with determination to start a fire. A white wisp of smoke rose from KYLER's pile, and he fed the sparks grass. At first, I thought KYLER would win their little battle, but the bundle extinguished itself. Aww. KYLER turned around to grab more grass. DeAndre then gazed at the audience and held a finger to his mouth. Shh. With KYLER unaware, DeAndre pulled out a lighter, causing another ripple of laughter. Many kids clapped their hands over their mouths to muffle their giggles. With a playful wink, he ignited the bundle of grass and pumped his fist into the air, claiming himself the victor. KYLER was astonished at first, but then noticed the abandoned rocks.
Tu as triche.
Moi? No.
DeAndre shoved the lighter into his pocket as their banter continued, which was drowned out by the applause of the crowd. DeAndre was a natural at engaging with his audience, but I was happy to see KYLER enjoying himself too. The rest of the day whizzed by due to the constant hustle and bustle. While guests left, Hendrik asked if I wanted to help take down the extra lights and decorations in the cave. Together with Rosemary and KYLER, we successfully stockpiled the cutouts and wrapped up the strung lights. Is that everything?
Seems so. Thanks for helping out. Switching the lights off now.
I watched Hendrik as he flicked off multiple switches in the wet screen room, causing the cave to grow dimmer and dimmer until it was completely black. Can you imagine being a Neanderthal walking into a cave for the first time? What thoughts they had as they took their first steps inside?
These rock formations are pretty cool.
Ugh, no! Hendrik, you have no imagination. Melissa, what do you think? Me? I squinted my eyes and stared into the abyss. Well... I'm gonna do this one again. I'm gonna leave the fascinating rocks for Hendrik. Caves were always a shelter, right? So, a place to stay out of the rain, cook meat, and hoard supplies. They were not hoarders. Neanderthals had high spatial skills and kept their living quarters organized.
Not the side and grown-up rule.
Most, then. I mean, look at us. We're capable of organization, but there's always the odd exception. Like a certain someone who leaves his clothes draped over chairs. But I digress. I like to think caves were more than just shelters. Oh gosh, no. Oh. Sorry for the random sneeze attacks. These just, I've got this sinus infection that refuses to go away. And just when I think, oh, I'm not sneezing and blowing my nose for 5 minutes, I guess I'll go record, then I'll have a random sneezing fit. Sorry, guys. Okay, let me drink some water and get myself repositioned. Okay.
Like a starless night.
Ooh, you look like you have something to say. He hastily glanced at the floor, carefully considering his answer.
Well, if a Neanderthal entered a cave for the first time, they'd notice how muted their surroundings would become, save for footsteps and maybe the dripping of water. Without fire, it'd be like witnessing a starless sky. They'd see that the climate inside was stable, and their torch's light wouldn't reach some of the higher ceilings. They'd have to gauge the size with more than just their eyes. They'd be entering a completely different environment. Maybe that's why their paintings were drawn so deep into the caves. It was like a spiritual place for them.
The reflective moment was broken by Rosemary's hearty laughter and a slap to Kyler's shoulder, causing him to flinch. Oh, you seriously thought of this before? See, this is what I meant. Imagination. I admit, Kyler, I always thought you were a total bore. What's the term you used once, Melissa? Square? Don't be mad at me, Boo. It was before I fell in love with you. Yes, a square. If I'd known you had a creative side, I would have made a bigger effort to talk to you. Come, let's chat about Neanderthals over some drinks. I'd love to hear more about it. Rosemary linked arms with Kyler and stepped toward the exit. He flashed Hendrik a frantic, "Save me" look. Hendrik noticed and raised a hand as if to halt Rosemary.
Have fun.
He wiggled his fingers goodbye. Kyler's mouth dropped, shocked at Hendrik's total lack of effort, while Rosemary dragged him outside. Will he be okay?
He'll be fine. It'll be good for him. On second thought, I should keep an eye on them, knowing Rose.
Okay, give me a second, guys. My nose is now running like mad. I just need to blow it. Ugh. Oh, okay. I'm back. Oh no, my diligence is going down because I'm failing. Oh, Melissa, no. Melissa. She's too distracted by all that hand-holding that went down. I emerged from my tent, noticing how empty it was on a Friday evening. Most people already left, while a few lingered behind waiting for the next train departure. Kyler emerged from his tent and hoisted a knapsack over his shoulder. I'll see you Monday. Have a good weekend.
You too. Are you always here during the weekend? Is there anyone else?
Just me. Sherry uses the opportunity to visit friends and colleagues. Yes, what would you like, darling?
If you don't have plans for tonight, if it's not imposing, I could keep you company for the evening.
That was unexpected. I had the feeling Kyler rarely offered to hang out. I'd be happy if you stayed. Thank you, it can get boring being here by myself. I was planning to finish off all the leftover s'mores tonight.
S'mores?
You never tried one, right? It's a treat that involves roasting marshmallows. It's a camping tradition in America.
If you insist.
You're gonna love it. Here you go. I delicately handed Kyler a perfectly arranged s'more. He accepted and stared at it quizzically while I assembled my own, smushing the heated marshmallow between the crackers and chocolate.
How are you supposed to eat these neatly?
Easy. You don't. No. See, like this. I crammed mine into my mouth to demonstrate, and Kyler watched in half awe, half disgust. It took all my willpower not to laugh at his reaction, and I chewed furiously, hiding my lips behind a hand. He glanced down at his treat and gingerly nibbled the spilling marshmallow. What do you think? A perfect blend of sticky and sweet and bitterness to balance it. The chocolate here is amazing.
It's not bad. It's really filling.
Filling? When you eat s'mores, you're supposed to want some more. That's the entire point. I watched in amusement as Kyler tried to stop the graham cracker crumbs from falling everywhere and to keep the sandwich mess together. He's gonna take forever at this rate. Just push it in, Melissa. You're halfway done. Just shove the rest in your mouth.
What? I'm not relegating myself to your eating habits.
Suit yourself, but you're just making a big mess. It's falling apart and everything. Honestly, it'd be grosser watching you eat the s'more for 10 minutes when you can finish it in less than 10 seconds. I wrinkled my nose and Kyler stared down at the treat, his lips tightening as he wrestled with a decision. Yeah! Chew! 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 Finally, he took a deep breath and crammed the s'more into his mouth. His cheeks puffed up like a chipmunk's and I laughed. That's the spirit! It wasn't so bad, was it? He angled his whole body away indignantly, and only faced me once he was done. He gave a light cough with a mix of embarrassment and triumph.
It wasn't an inefficient method.
The fire crackled merrily, and it was a peaceful evening. It was peaceful enjoying the warmth together. It was a peaceful evening? Where did I get that? The atmosphere felt a little different from how we interacted in the cave. All we need are some campfire songs or games. I can't sing or play a guitar, though.
I think you need more than 2 people to play a campfire game.
True. No, wait, there's one that could work. It's a spot the pattern game.
Which game is that?
It's called I Like. I say something I like, followed by something I dislike. You try to figure out the pattern and do the same. I'll tell you if you got it right or wrong. Ready? He nodded, and I mentally prepared some examples. Fortunately, I'd played the game before, so I had early reserves. I like cheese. I don't like exams.
I like excavating. I don't like puns.
Wrong.
Is the pattern liking food?
No. Next one. I like jogging. I dislike lectures.
It's being averse to academics.
No, don't focus on me. Your turn.
I like starry nights. I dislike mosquitoes.
Starry nights? That was new to me. And it was correct. Bingo, you got it right. He blinked and mulled over his choice while I picked another one. I like Lindy hopping. I dislike parking tickets.
I like... books. I dislike action films.
2 in a row. Are you sure you haven't already figured it out yet?
Is it something to do with double letters?
Whoa, you caught on quickly. I found it harder to mention something I disliked that avoided using double letters. I kept thinking lagging Wi-Fi, missing the bus, weak coffee. I would have said I liked green tea lattes next, or digging. What about you?
I did consider a few examples.
Was it... A shiver ran down my spine as I folded my arms. I had forgotten my hoodie, and the temperature dropped while we played the game. I stood up, planning to fetch an extra layer of clothes, when KYLER hastily extended an arm to get my attention.
Are you cold, Melissa? I could lend you my hoodie.
Oh, there's such romantic music playing. He bashfully tugged at the zipper of his sweatshirt.
I read this in a book.
I hear it's romantic. I'm melting at this stupid thing. Okay.
I've read it in a book before, so...
As clumsy as his delivery was, his attempt was endearing, and I sat back down. Sure. He fumbled with the zipper at first, then removed the hoodie. Leaning over, he draped it over my shoulders, and I tugged at the front like a blanket. It smelled faintly like earth, soothing and subtle. His hand lingered on my back before he withdrew self-consciously, his elbows resting on his knees. I glanced at his shirt. You won't freeze?
I don't mind. I'm used to the cold.
The silence became awkward, and KYLER inhaled lightly as he turned away. I guess it was my turn. Whoops! No, wait, I just want to look at that. Look at that. So cute. Aw. Grabbing the edge of my seat, I shuffled closer to his side until our knees touched. KYLER glanced downwards before his eyes met mine. Encouraged, he tilted his body until we supported each other, my shoulder against his. I felt his posture relax as we settled into a comfortable position. I smiled contentedly, letting my eyelids lower as we watched the fire. No words needed to be exchanged. The crackling of the wood and the occasional hoot of an owl was enough. The entire right side of my body felt warm. I honestly could fall asleep like this. Did you? No? Were you a good girl? We're studying by ourselves again? Oh, because it's the weekend. KYLER's not here. Okay. Well. Look at all these hearts. He's still awkward, but absolutely sweet. Oh no, I feel another random sneeze coming on. Go away, sneeze. We don't need you. Okay, yes, studying. Still to the cave. Volunteering. Cave. Yeah, okay. Cave. Actually, this is the last. Oh my goodness, this is the last week. What am I? Forget intern. We don't need to worry about our stress anymore. We can just do our things. Yes. Okay. I don't think we even get to the weekend now. Well, here we go. I can't believe we're already here. Goodness gracious me. I'm just getting into this romance. How can we end already? Well, this is a good start. This clay! I picked off the sludge stuck to the trowel. Augustin stressed that he wanted my square to be 100% cleared out before I returned home. It's gonna take forever at this rate. How far deep should I go anyway? KYLER, how are we supposed to leave our squares when we're done?
Leave? Oh, I see what you mean.
Taking his trowel, he kneeled next to me, his shoulder lightly touching mine.
Basically, when we finish a square, we need its bottom completely level. If there's anything protruding out, you'll have to leave it or risk digging into the next square.
He unconsciously leaned in to direct my attention, and I felt the warmth of his body.
You can leave this rock alone. However, it's a little uneven in the back right. It needs to be a perfect corner. And...
He lowered his trowel, looking deep in thought. And what? He averted his gaze, but I caught a glimpse of his burning cheeks. You okay? Your face is kind of red there.
I'm just a little hot from the heat lamps, that's all.
More like hot and bothered. It's okay to get flustered because of me. I am pretty cute.
Aren't you modest?
I am being modest. I said I'm pretty cute, not drop-dead gorgeous.
You...
He slowly turned to face me again. His fingers hesitantly brushed mine between us.
Melissa, before you return...
Anything I can assist with?
Oh no, he's like, Sherry, no.
KYLER automatically scooted back, but kept his head low as Sherry moved away from the ladder, oblivious to KYLER's nervousness. Thank goodness. Were you being helped, Melissa? KYLER was giving me tips on how the square should look when it's finished.
Right. I was showing her the bedding.
Bedding?
The geology bedding.
Of course, you didn't need to clarify.
I kinda needed it. I have to go. I have hypoxia.
Ah! He jumped up and clumsily reached for the ladder behind Sherry. Once he vanished, Sherry dug her elbow into my back with each stressed syllable. Melissa! Do I get bonus points for romancing someone? More like I should deduct points for being distracted from your studies. Me? I'm the one focusing here. It's KYLER who is distracted. True. That is the first time I've seen him like this. KYLER's a nice young man. He's not good at expressing himself, but it's obvious he cares about you. He'll be a prominent archaeologist in the future. Great networking, Melissa. It's all about who you know in the field. Sure. Networking. Definitely doing some of that. I guess this was her teachery way of giving us her support. Okay, she wasn't as averse to it as with DeAndre, at least. With that, she left me to my digging. I had a feeling KYLER was taking a very long break. Probably for the best. Oh. I don't lose diligence when I fail, with KYLER at least. Keeps me from getting stupid, I guess. Whew. Wow. Blowing through these days, though. I'm gonna miss him when it's all over, though. Oh, no. Ugh. Ow. Are we gonna get any more scenes before the end, or is it just gonna be, boom, the end? Here you go.